Hey, what's up guys? Andy here, and today we're going to be discussing Goblin Slayer in its entirety. There's a reason why I didn't review it on the channel, and it might not be what you think. It wasn't because of all the accusations and like all that stuff, like saying it was, terrible and the rape stuff and all that. It was actually just because it didn't coincide with my schedule at the time. And I wanted to in the beginning, but after all this stuff started coming out and everybody started hating on it, I decided I would just let it set back because, I like my opinions on things, and we'll get to that in the video, but the whole rape thing, it kind of pissed me off because it's fantasy, it's an anime, but we'll discuss that more in a minute. As for this video, we're going to be discussing my personal criticisms, my concerns with what happened in the show, the thoughts of a season 2, and of course what I loved about the show. So there's a lot of stuff to kind of break down in the video. We're going to try to go over it pretty quickly. I'm really tired and I'm kind of crunched on time, but I've got all my notes laid out on stuff I want to discuss. So without further delay, let's go ahead and get into this.
Our lips, they tasted like those cigarettes, staring at the moon.
Alright guys, so Goblin Slayer. What do I think of it? I liked it. There's a lot of stuff that I really didn't like, and a lot of stuff I think they could have done better, but overall, I enjoyed it. What we need to talk about first, though, is the rape. Okay, so this was a big turn off and turn away for a lot of people watching this show, as you know it should have been, because rape is a touchy subject, and I'm speaking not from personal experience because it's never happened to me. And I can't correlate their feelings, onto myself. So take this with a grain of salt, because I'm not educated on, the feelings of it. But I would assume it's really bad. They do, however, give this at the beginning of every episode. This show contains scenes that some viewers may find disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. That right there is kind of what I feel like saves it a little bit, but they don't explicitly say that. So people who were just watching it at the very beginning and got hit with that rape scene out of left corner, that could have been pretty damaging. I feel like they could have did a little bit better of a job, stopping that. But other than that, I don't feel like they could have done too much more, because they use this as a way to represent why the Goblin Slayer hates goblins so much. They're disgusting, deplorable beings. And what's worse? They kill people, they rape people, they torture people. You can't get much worse, and that gives him his motivation. Alright, so the second thing we gotta talk about is the pee. Okay, so I didn't like it, but it's real shit. She's a 15-year-old little girl who just became an adventurer, and she peed. She peed herself. Okay, that's one thing. Alright, I get that, blah, 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 whatever. To the next point I'm gonna make here, she did it again later on in the series, and it was kind of worse just due to the sheer fact that she had grown so much as a character, even though we didn't see it, which is going to be another complaint of mine here in just a minute. But she grew so much as a character, but yet she's still scared to death of what's happening right in front of her, which I feel like a season 2 could help that. But let's move on to the next thing I want to discuss here, and that is simply the story's not fleshed out at all. They could have did so much more with the 12 episodes. I know they were on a budget and they probably wanted to get as much done as they could, considering they didn't know if the show was going to be a hit or not. And that's understandable, because it does take a lot of money to create an anime. We learned that firsthand from Misty. If you all don't know, Misty Cronexia tried to create his own anime. It didn't work out too well for the home team. But the fourth thing, there's no names. We have the main female role, who is just known as the Priestess. Why doesn't she have a name? There's no reason not to her have a name. We don't have the High Elf's name, which she's one of my favorite characters just due to the way she acts. She gets pissy about stuff, and it's really funny. We don't have the Dwarf's name, the Lizard's name. We don't even have the Goblin Slayer's real name. And that's really what irks me about this series, because this is one of the biggest reasons why I'm glad I did not review this show. I am 100% content with not reviewing it, because if I did, there would be nothing, there would be no names to go by. I wouldn't know what to call who. And that's just that's my biggest complaint about the entire thing. Next, needs more world building. I mean, we got the guilds and everything in the adventurers, but they weren't expanded upon a lot. I mean, we got the identification tags in the ranks. We don't even know all the full ranks yet. And that kind of worries me, because if they don't really flesh this out, then, you know, that's going to be worse. But, next up, character progression. We got no character progression out of anyone. Like I said, she was still scared to death and pissed her pants. When I get that, you know, it's a real life thing, but like, why? Why don't we have any progression on any character? We got one character turns out to like cheese. Oh boy. One character is a drinker. Oh boy. One character is not so much of a drinker and kind of gets lushy. And then one character is a little girl who really wants to be an adventurer but gets scared to death. One character likes to kill goblins and eventually showed the rest of the guild his face. I mean, that was the only character progression we really got. It just doesn't help the series out when it has nothing to work with there. The next thing that I really want to talk about here is they did have a full recap episode. Now, I don't mind it because I was watching them all straight through. So, I don't mind that at all. But the people who are watching week to week and really excited, that would piss me off as a fan if, like, they could have just took a week break. They could have did a lot of stuff, but they decided to post a full recap video, which I didn't mind it, like I said, but that's because I was watching them all back to back, so I was getting to go to the next episode regardless. They had to wait a full 2 weeks with no word. So, you know, that's whatever, I guess. You know, it can't be helped. The next thing is the opening. Okay. I can't tell if this is one of my favorite anime openings or one of my least favorite. It's weird. I can't pin it. I don't know why. For one episode I'll be like, this opening is weird, man. The next I'll be like, I love this opening, it's great. And I'll be like catching myself singing along to like the slow parts. And then it's just, you know, like, oh, maybe I do like it. But wait, next episode it's weird again. So I don't know. I really don't know on that. The one good thing I can say about the Goblin Slayer is throughout this entire series, he pretty much stays true to his, you know, quiet but deadly, well, for the most part, he stays true, anyway. He does have a few quirky little moments here and there, but other than that, I mean, you know, he stays true to character for the most part. The next thing I really want to discuss here, though, is the introduction of the heroes. I feel like that was a good play because I feel like by the end of this, I haven't read the light novels, but by the end of this, I think the Goblin Slayer is going to be revered as a hero, whether he does beat a demon lord or not, because he's pretty much, his goal is to save the villages from these rampaging goblins who can't protect themselves. So yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things that I really enjoyed that they actually did that, but then again, they didn't do nothing with it, so it could just be like another throw-out thing. The next thing to talk about is Season 2. It is a confirmed Season 2. There is no date set out, but the end of the last episode said, more to come. Something like that. It said more to come, or to be continued, or something like that, so there's probably, unless something goes wrong and like the company collapses or backlash happens, I don't think that they're going to pull back on that word. Season 2 will be coming no matter what, just no word on when. And I did read up, there are still arcs left in the light novels that they could run off of right now. They could be making this right now for all we know. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I just have, you know, small quirks with it. You know, I can't tell if I love it or hate it, but I did enjoy thoroughly every episode except for the recap episode. But I went through them all in like 2 days and I loved it. I really did. And my biggest, you know, thing, they need names, they need world building, they need to flesh out this story. Get us invested in this world of the Goblin Slayer. We got full-on details on how gruesome and terrible these goblins are and his motives, but we don't have anything else. So, you know, up one, kind of lower the other. We don't really need any more rape scenes. There's always been, there's already been 2 or 3, so let's keep that down. Other than that, not really much to discuss, guys. I just wanted to kind of get my thoughts out here and tell y'all how I feel about it and kind of, you know, hope to see a season 2, because like I said, I did enjoy it. For now, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10, and it could go up, down, or stay the same once the new season comes out, depending on how they decide to go about it. And, oh, I do have one more thing. I never understood this. Someone let me know in the comments down below if this is a legitimate thing. From the way I took it, he died, but slept next to a virgin and came back to life, I guess. I don't know if he was if he was just really weak or if he was actually dead. Because the maiden or the hero lady could have saved his life and it just could have been, you know, to the side and I missed it. But the way I took it, he slept next to the little priestess girl who's a virgin and got better. So, I don't know. I don't really know. Other than that, nope. Nothing else really, guys. I loved every episode of the series, but like most animes, it's got its problems. And I hope with the season 2, they actually fix those problems instead of just going with what they have now. But that being said, I'm going to go ahead and head out of here, guys. It's been a long night for me, so I'll catch y'all next time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace out.
Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear. Driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun. Feel the wind in my hair, going nowhere.